Hi and welcome. In today's video, we are going to see data plane segmentation in Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN networks. Now, data plane segmentation has always been with us. So, for example, in layer 2, we have the VLANs going over trunk interfaces with their VLAN tags, and then they'll be forwarded on their respective interfaces, either in the handoff mode being accessed or being tranked. Now, when it comes to MPLS networks, we have the VPN v4 labels, which allows packets or let's say traffic from one core device to traverse over the MPLS core network to other PEs, respective of where they have their VRF and targets configured. Now, in it's no different from Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN. So basically, Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN allows us to bundle different data plane traffic over the SD-WAN fabric to other SD-WAN devices. Now, to take a look at this, so this is a typical example of the data plane segmentation in an SD-WAN network. So you'd have one SD-WAN edge device sitting somewhere in your SD-WAN fabric. Then you have, let's say, multiple services at the branch. So let's say for VPN one, maybe you have a service like, let's say, your corporate network, and then you also in VPN two you have another separate corporate network. Let's say it's an office complex where you have VPN one for, let's say, floor one, VPN two for floor two, and let's say these are different companies, but then they are all within your parent company. But then you want to use this VPN data plane segmentation to forward traffic over the SD-WAN fabric to the other end of the SD-WAN fabric. So a typical example is what we have here. So we have VPN one, let's say it's carrying different traffic. You have VPN two. Now, when it comes to the SD-WAN fabric, right, it doesn't care about which traffic is being forwarded over the SD-WAN fabric. So it's just going to bundle this traffic and then separate this traffic based on their um, VPN values, or let's say the VPN tags. So let's say in the SD-WAN fabric, we have VPN 1, VPN 2, and then VPN 3. So all these data plane traffic is being bundled and moved over the SD-WAN fabric. Now, when it gets to once it gets to the the vSmart, which controls the policies for the SD-WAN fabric, so it's going to determine where to forward this traffic to. So let's say we have another device over here which sits in a different branch, and there's a need for um, clients, or let's say users in these respective VLANs to talk to each other. So there's the one fabric is going to handle that. So as I said, it's no different from other VPNs that you know, which is used to segment data plane traffic like MPLS, like IPsec, etc. So a typical example is what you're going to see over here. So we have the original packet, then we have the label, we have the encapsulation payload, and then we have the transport protocol, either UDP or TCP. Then you have the outer layer for the IP. So the IP, this might be the transport IP, might be the IP used like the TLOCs and other IPs that is needed in the transport for the packet to get to its destination. And the original packet would be the source of the traffic itself. So without wasting much time, let's head on to our SD-WAN fabric. So I've zoomed in a bit. So basically, you're going to focus on VH1 and then VH6 over here. So basically, I've added a new server which is in VPN2, and then I have a new PC which is in VPN2 as well. So basically, what I'm done configuring, right? What is going to happen is that we are going to get um, traffic from PC VPN2 going to server VPN2, and then PC VPN1 going to server VPN1. And mind you, these services are in a different location. So if you have been following all my SD-WAN series videos, so you realize that I have a detailed video on how these devices were configured and their geographical location as well. So basically, we have VH1 connecting to the provider's MPLS network, and then we have VH2, VH6 connecting to the provider's network as well. So let's head on to our vSmart and let's see what I've done over there. So heading on to our vmanage. So what I did is that I've created a new template for VPN2. So we can search for here, VPN2. As you can see, I've created the WAN edge, the interface for the configuration for the VPN2, the main configuration, and I also have the configuration for the VPN interface. So basically, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to configure it to be in to be used by VH1 and then VH6. So heading on to the device template, I'll go to VH1 to start off. So I'll just click on here and I'll say attach devices. No, before we go there, let me go to the VH1. Let me click on edit. Let me go to service VPN. So I'm going to add a new VPN to the template. So basically, I can choose from here. Select VPN2, add VPN interface. I'm going to select VPN2 interface. So I'll go to update. Okay, forbidden request. User is not permitted to perform requested operation. Let me just refresh the page. Yep. So let's try again. So we have let's add another service VPN, VPN2, add VPN interface. Then I'll select this. Then I'll click on update. Okay, so we have VH1 over here. So let's see the parameters that we can configure over here. So I'll do a quick check on the IP configuration that I did for the server. So you get the gateway is 17.1.1. That's fine. So the IP address is going to be 172.17.1.1/24. And that'll be all. I'll click on update. I'll go to next. I'll click on the configuration. Then we check the configuration diff. So let's go to the diff and see the new configuration that we've added to our SD-WAN edge device. So side by side, so we can see a new configuration for VPN2. The interface was selected by default. And as I said, I've demonstrated or explained in my previous videos. So I added IP address, I unshuttered the interface, and I have OMP, which is going to redistribute any protocol on this interface into the SD-WAN fabric. I can go to configure device, and I'll go back to configure 6. So this is 6. So edit VPN service. Let me add a new service VPN, VPN2, add VPN interface. There we go. Update. So once again, let me check the configuration for the device that I have over here. Okay. So let's see. Let me check for VPN1. Edit config. 192.168. 200. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that let me just do this. Edit config. Change this to 300. 300. And that will do. So let me click on save. Now let's go back to our vmanage. Edit. So the IP address is going to be 192.168.300. almost forgot the IP address. 300.1/24. Then I'll click on update. Next, let's check the configuration diff. There's an error. Yes, I know where the error is coming from. So let's see. Okay, so let me just do some quick changes. I think that would do. So I'll go to templates, where's templates? So let me go here and let me check on the interface. I think I did a mistake with the variable configuration for the IP address. So let me see which one is this. VPN VPN 2. So let me just change it to VPN 2, and I can update. So let's see. Yes. So I think there was also an error with the configuration for the VH1 because of the variable issue. So now we can click on update. Next, check the configuration diff. Yep. So we should be good by now. Let's see how it goes. Side by side. Yes, so nothing. Configure device. Now let me go back and work on VH6. So where is VH6? This is VH6. Edit. Then you go to service VPN. I think it's already there. VPN 2 template update. Okay, so let's see. Let's wait for this one to complete. So let me see. Let's wait for this one to complete and let me see how it goes. Okay, so we've been able to push the configuration to VH1. So now let's go back to templates, VH6, edit. Let's go to the service VPN. Let's select this, update. Good. So now let's do configure the parameters. I think something might be missing from here. Hold on. So let me check the configuration for VH6 again. I think there's an issue with the templates. Yeah. So let's see. Service VPN. Okay, that's fine. So add another service VPN, VPN 2, VPN interface. Select this, click on update. And then let me configure the parameters. That should do. So 192.168.300.1.24 update. Next. Select the configuration. Let's check side by side to see what we have over there. Okay, it seems to be having the same issue again. Let me pause the video and get back to you when I'm done. Okay, so it seems to be having issues with the IP address configuration. So let me just try it again. Edit. Then we have your service VPN, VPN 2, and VPN interface. Update. So now let me just change it to 172. So here is 16.6. So let me use 17.2.1/24. Next. Yep. So now we can check the side-by-side configuration. We add the VPN 2. Before we push this, so we have the IP address over here. For VPN 2 in the VH1, we used 17.17.1.1, but here I'm using 17.2.1. That is good to go. We can configure device. And as we wait for the device to configure, let me just change the IP configuration for the client. So instead of using this, let me just use 172.17.2.1. So the same thing applies here. 172.17.2.1, and then here will be 2.2. And save it now. And let's see how it goes. So it's still pushing the configs. Let me just go back. Open a terminal for this window. So I have a terminal for this window. You can check the IP config. So this is it's using 200. It shouldn't be using 200. So what I will do is that I'm going to power cycle the device and boot it up again. So power on. Okay, so now let's check the IP configuration. Yes, so then we have 17.2. Now let me ping my gateway and see if I can reach it. 17.2.1. Yes, and I can reach my gateway. So now let me see if I can reach the server in VPN 2 at the VH1 site. Yes, I can reach the gateway for the server. So hopefully I can reach the server itself. Yes, and I can reach the server itself. So let's go back to vManage and see a real live view on how it goes. So we are good to go. We can go to network. We can select VH1, and then we can go to real time. Let me just select VH6 because that's where the client is. Command. So now, no, T-shoot rather, troubleshooting. Let's do ping to see. So destination IP is 172.17.2.2, hopefully. VPN 2, select the interface, ICMP, nothing much. Just click on ping and let's wait for the results. And as you can see, all the pings went through with minimal loss, which is expected. So now what else can we do? So let me change the troubleshooting to trace route. Now let me go back to 172.16. 17.17.2.2. Sorry, 1.2. Select VPN 2. Select the interface. Now click on start to check the path. And as you can see, it goes straight to the 17.1.1 gateway. Then it gets to the server, which is 17.2. Just for clarity, let me show you the server. So this is the server. Sorry. This is the server. Check the IP address. And as you can see, that is the IP address that we have. So now it confirms that from VH6 we have a direct connection, or let's say we have a good route path from VH6 over the SD-WAN fabric to the other end. Now let's test something, right? So let me change the destination IP to, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to change the destination IP to 172.16.1.2 using VPN 2 and the source interface in VPN 2. Let me just start again and see what's going to happen. So what is going to happen is that it's not going to reach because this particular IP address is in VPN 1. It's the VH1 site. So if I pull up my terminal, this is the server 1, VPN 1. So this is the IP address which is in VPN 1. So it's not going to go through because this is the real action, or the reality of the data plane segmentation in SD-WAN. So once you have traffic, or let's say data plane traffic in a different VPN, it's not going to work over the other VPN unless you configure a policy to leak routes within the VPN as well. So what we can do is that you can just change this to VPN 1. So let me just refresh the page, and let's test the connectivity for VPN 1. So the destination IP is this VPN 1. Choose the VPN 1 interface. So you notice that when you choose any VPN, right, by default, it's going to choose the interface. So let's do a start and see what is going to happen over there. And as you can see, the trace is going through to the VPN 1 because you're using VPN 1 to establish the data path. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in my next video.